Hello, my name is Ismail Ramirez. I'm one of the graduate student counseling interns for ECS's internship and career services. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about polishing your digital profile. So a few things that we're going to talk about is digital profiles and the different types, quick tips before creating your digital profile, profile development, and then building your digital network. So that's our agenda. So the first thing is, a really popular digital profile is having a LinkedIn account. So take the time to think about if you have one. And then the question, the other next question is if you already do have one, when's the last time you looked through and updated your LinkedIn? Right? When's the last time you spent the time to connect with someone on LinkedIn, post, respond, reply to other people on LinkedIn, being actively engaged on LinkedIn? Um, so spend the time to think about that. And the purpose for LinkedIn being it's a very, very popular digital profile and you can build a very powerful digital presence if you are actively on LinkedIn consistently. So digital profiles, one other profile that I highly recommend college students to use is Handshake. It's for college students, specifically Sacramento State students and alumni. You can find on-campus or off-campus jobs on Handshake, either full-time, part-time, or through it with internships. You can connect with other students and employers. You can see the employers list. You can see, the how many jobs or how many people work for them, things like that. You can, and one other thing, if you're an alumni, please be sure to change your email to your personal email or the email that you use consistently after graduation because you will not have access to your school email after 2 years, to my understanding. I think it's 2 years. Yeah, and then there's also the career resources, so a social media feed. You can also look at events that are going on campus as well. Um, and definitely you can sign up for those events like our info sessions or meet the employers, things like that. And then there's also an app to make just ease of access, just more accessibility, um, and just at the tip of your fingers, right? Okay, so LinkedIn, right? So LinkedIn is used by professionals to connect, network, and build their careers. You can put your virtual resume on there, highlighting your skills, education, work experience, and achievements. You could connect with colleagues, classmates, alumni, and professionals. Wo- And that's a very important way to build your professional network is through those connections you make on LinkedIn. And employers also advertise opportunities, and people that have LinkedIn's can apply directly on LinkedIn. Some employers might not even post their job opening on Indeed or Glassdoor or any of those, or even Handshake, but they only post it on LinkedIn. So it is important to use LinkedIn and be active on LinkedIn consistently to see what opportunities are out there. Here are some stats. Now, these stats were about a little bit older than 2 years, so the numbers may be different, but here are some stats. And the biggest thing is a lot of these stats, they probably have increased with more people using LinkedIn and building your professional network. Um, it's important for LinkedIn, a big part of it is building that professional network. Yes, your digital profile, but building that professional network with connecting with employers, recruiters, your colleagues, your friends, in different industries, right? Because you never know what opportunity is out there. And as you can see, a lot of people do get interviews through LinkedIn. So, and here's how you would create your digital profile. And here's some quick tips. So the tip one, and this is for your resume, when you're posting your resume, make sure your resume is easy to scan. It's not the template. If you have a template, make sure it's, uh, excuse me, manageable to scan for AI purposes, if or the computer, how they scan it, and it goes through the system. You want to identify keywords on there, review any grammar or typo mistakes. Please be aware of privacy. So for an example is if you put your your like physical address, your street, and all of that. I would recommend not to do that, just for privacy reasons. If you just, if you live in Sacramento, just say, Sacramento, California. You don't have to put your physical address. Use your resume, don't replicate it, and then be professional um, on your resume or just anywhere on your digital profile. Be professional as well. Don't use any abbreviations or anything like that unless you explain the abbreviation. All right. So here's an example of a profile development, right? So you could have a background photo. It could be a cityscape of Sacramento, landscape, or any city really. But if you're a Sacramento State student, you can put, a Sacramento State logo on there, something like that. So whatever you decide, make sure it's professional. And then a profile photo, a headshot wearing a business casual to business professional top, um, behind a clear, kind of a blank background. You want a headline, your job title and company you work for. If you're not working for a company at the moment, you could put, the job title that you're wanting to get, or someone in training, or a student, if you're still a student, like a computer science student, things like that. For your about section, you want to just describe what motivates you and your goals in your related to your career. Oops, sorry, excuse me. You make sure that it's related to your career. You don't have to put hobbies. Let's say you like to play tennis, unless you're planning to work in a career in tennis, either being a tennis player or working in the field, like industry of tennis, right? But make sure it's your about section is related to your career. The big one will be experience. List all the jobs you've held. If they were part-time, even if you didn't get paid for them, list the experience on there because there are transferable skills that you can put on there. Same little resume. And again, be sure to put what you accomplished in that skill, what you're proud of in that experience, in that work experience. And I'll go into more of that in a separate video regarding resumes. Um, but this you can also put on your resume and then upload it to LinkedIn, and I'll go through on the system. You want to put your education, start with the college, list all the educational experience if you've had, um, any associates, bachelor's, master's, trade school, private, anything like that, PhDs, things like that. And then a skills section. You can add at least five technical or soft skills that you can connect to other sections such as experience, volunteer, and projects, among others. Your connections can endorse your skills, right? So what that means is, you want to show that, let's say you worked with people as a substitute teacher, as in this example, the people that you connect with you want to make sure that if by any chance, if you ever put them down for a reference, these skills is something that they're knowledgeable of, that you do have good communication or adaptability if you do decide to put them down for a reference or for a job reference, anything like that. Um, but you can put the skills section in each experience that you have had. So it doesn't just have to be in one whole section, but you can put it in each section and differentiate the skills. I would say if for any ECS student, because you're in a technical field, I would say to focus more on the technical skills rather than the soft skills. Soft skills being, communication, adaptability, time management, leadership. Those are all soft skills, but technical skills may be like C++, Java, Python, any programming language, any technical tools that you know how to use if you're a mechanical engineer or civil engineer. Tools and their names for them on how you use them. Those are the hard skills or technical skills. Okay, and then other sections you can do is you can featured is show what you're proud of, any articles, documents, photos, websites, videos, or presentations you collaborated with, worked on, did, anything like that. Any licenses or certifications, any programming languages, tools or software that you took a training on. any projects you've done, especially if you're a senior and you're doing your senior project. Definitely put your project on there. Also, any project for any class really would work as well. But the senior project definitely put that on there. Or any personal projects as well that you've done that you worked on. Maybe you worked on a website personally. You can put that on there. Courses, you can put the courses only include courses that align with your career goals. However, so for an example is if you are, let's say you're a mechanical engineer wanting to go in a uh, robotics like a robotics field in a robotics company, you want to work there, but you took a class in, let's say, aerodynamics by any chance, um, may not be, totally, it might not be relevant for the robotics industry or the company at least, because they don't deal with any, flying robotics or something, things like that. It just depends on the job, really, but make sure it's relevant, the courses that you're putting on there. And any recommendations, ask managers, professors, or classmates who've worked with you closely to write a recommendation. You can put that as well. Um, all right. And then a LinkedIn additional sections like volunteer experience. Again, it doesn't have to be paid or unpaid. Any experience is valuable because of those transferable skills. Any honors or awards, if you earned any scholarships, please put them on there. Organizations and clubs. Put that on there as well. And those here on right here on the side is an example of how you would format that. So then when you're building your digital network, a lot of it is building your professional network, right? So your first degree is connections are people that you already are connected to. Let's say your friends, your professors, people that you have that you see more consistently, right? Either throughout the week, people that you know already. Your second degree will be people connected to your first degree, so mutual connections. So let's say you're friends and they have a mutual friend, so that you meet this friend through your other friends. Those will be mutual connections. If someone introduces you to someone else that you don't know, that's your second degree. Now, your third degree are people who are connected by your second degree. And then and it gets, and so on and so forth with the out of network. So people that fall outside your first, second, and third degree. So it's kind of like a chain reaction, like a dominoes. You meet someone through different connection levels, right? So those are the different types of connections. So you want to connect with people you know first. Obviously, that's probably the easiest, like classmates, your professors, people let's say you're in a club, people in your club, right? And connect with people within your network. You'd say, hey, do you have a LinkedIn account? If you do, if you both do, you can add each other on LinkedIn. Um, and I would also stress connect with people outside of your network. And what I mean by that as well is, let's say you're a civil engineer, um, and you're in a club for civil engineering, and you connect with people in your classes and also people in the civil engineering club. But you might want to also connect with people, let's say in the arts department, right? People that are studying art. It always helps to know many different types of people, many different types of industries, because you never know what will happen in the future and what opportunities can arise from people that are outside of your focused network that you're wanting to build. Obviously, it's good to build your network and strengthen your network in the industry you want to work for, but definitely try to keep other connections as well. So the same goes for employers. So you want to connect with employers you have interacted with, especially if you interacted with them at the career fair. Ask if they have a LinkedIn account and if you can add them on LinkedIn, um, if they're comfortable with that, and then go from there and then connect with the other people in that company. But again, you can also connect with other employers in different types of industries as well. Um, and then the biggest thing is also connecting with alumni. You may not have known them they may have been like three years, they may have graduated 3 years ahead of you, but because you share a mutual connection of Sacramento State alum and graduating from Sacramento State or if attending graduate Sacramento State, that's something to build that connection off. So you can start by saying, "Oh, I also am graduating or have recently graduated from Sacramento State. I'd love to connect with you and see how you maneuvered once you graduated from Sacramento State, and what tips can you give me?" And that's one way to build a connection to alumni. Um, so I wanted you to take a minute and how would you reach out to the following people? You can pause this video, but let's say you want to connect with them on LinkedIn and want to send them a message. How will you send, how would you write that email through a recruiter and to a recruiter, an alumni, and an interested connection? Hope you pause the video. So this is an example of reaching out to a recruiter. So hi, my name is Ismail, and I found your profile through such and such company. I'm a student at this school with experience and interest in, let's say, civil engineering. I'm seeking new opportunities in this field and would love to discuss how I can prepare to be a qualified candidate. Hope to hear from you soon. So with recruiters, you can be a bit more direct. You can tell them that you're wanting a certain experience or certain opportunity in a certain field, and this is your experience. Because they are recruiters, that is their job. That they want to cultivate talent, um, and find people that are interested in the field that they're wanting to work in. Now, if you, again, if I would say pause this video if you haven't gotten to the other sections of it. But for the next one, this is how you would reach out to an alumni. So notice here, I was doing some alum research and noticed that you graduated from Sacramento State. Did you ever have Professor such and such or this class? They were my favorite. I wanted to learn more about your experience at such and such company. Would you be willing to hop on a call or grab a coffee? Especially if so with this is again, you have already a mutual connection here because you both have attended or have graduated from Sacramento State. So with that, you can start with that message and then ask to learn more about them and their experience working at a certain company or navigating the workforce. Um, Definitely try if you can to meet in person if you have the capacity and they have the capacity. If not, maybe a phone call or a Zoom call it would be better. Or even email, talking through email is fine too, but try to meet with them in person. That helps a lot too, meeting in person over coffee or during lunch, things like that. And then this is for someone if you're interested, have an interested connection. So, hi, my name is Ismael Ramirez. I found your profile through our mutual connection. Give the name, and I see that you're let's say, the position at the company. And then I hope to work in a similar position, field, or industry, and I would love to learn about how you got there. I'd like to connect to learn more about your current role at such and such company. So notice here for an interested connection, let's say there's a network engineer, a computer network engineer at Microsoft, and you want to work at Microsoft or somewhere similar to that. So you would connect with them and send them this message on, let's say you found someone who is a network engineer there and they went to a different school, you don't have any similarities really, other than maybe your major. But if you connect with them and then this is the message you send, you're coming at it in an angle of curiosity. You're not going to send them your qualifications, your skills, and ask them if they have a job available in the company. Really, what you're doing here is just building that first connection and building rapport with this person and saying, "Hey, I'd love to just know more about you, learn how you navigated this career field, and I'd be willing to learn more and learn more about your company as well." And really, you're just coming at it at a curiosity standpoint. There's no, if for someone to see this message, there's not much pressure to um, meet with someone or respond because you're really just asking about them. And people, for the most part, enjoy talking about themselves and how they got to a certain field. We are a lot people, most people are naturally just like to be around other people and interact with people um, in different capacities, obviously, but um, just either through email, through phone calls, whatever the case may be, try to connect with them, try to learn more about them as a person, but also them in related to their career and how they got there. But you're not coming at it with, okay, here's my resume, here's my skills. Do you have a job for me in this company? Because that can be a little bit transactional and standoffish for someone to receive that message. And then here are some other resources. So Big Interview, Job and Internship Handbook, Handshake, UEI jobs, federal jobs, state jobs, labor market insights. You can find all of this at Sacramento State's website through ECS as well. There are ECS website on the job and career internship and career services for ECS. So feel free to take a look at all of these. And yeah, that concludes my presentation on the digital profile, building your digital profile. If you have any questions, please let us know. Feel free to email us, um, and I believe I have my email. Yep, right here you can email at ecs-careercounseling@csus.edu, or this is our location as well. So feel free if you have any questions regarding this. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.